With the month just finally being done, we are now onto a new chapter. Today is actually May 4th. May the 4th be... Don't say it. Anyways, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I hope you guys are having a lovely, beautiful day. If you're new here, hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Ev, and on this channel, I like to talk about all things knitting, but today it is actually a Knits and Babbles podcast episode. I think it's episode 16, and Knits and Babbles is a podcast type episode where I talk about everything that I've casted on, casted off, new acquisitions, just random things that happened during the month, and then we sit down and hang out together for a little bit. We have quite a lot to go through today because it's a lot of little things, but I'm really excited, so I hope you guys enjoy this episode, and let's get right into it. Also, I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video, so this is just like intruding myself right here, right now, but this is actually the Friday tee by Petite Knit. I knit this in Sanjo silk in their white. It is 50% silk, 50% wool, and then the blue is a lace weight from Gazelle. It is the Gazelle Star Rockstar or something like that. Yeah, it's a lace weight teal. I didn't hold it double, I only held it single, so the stripes are a little bit thinner than they are supposed to be, but I kind of like it. I don't think it's that noticeable. Now back to the knits. So I don't know if you can tell, but yes, my spinning wheel is now empty. So that means that I have officially spun 1 pound that I am spinning for my sweater spin. Hopefully that video will come out soon, but yes, it is empty. In the other videos, it has occasionally been getting fuller and fuller and fuller, but we now have an empty new bobbin. So that's exciting. I'm thinking about calling it the Spinning Diaries, and hopefully I can get the first episode out soon. Soon. I think, as always, we will start off with the finished pieces, and the first one that I want to share with you guys is one that has its own dedicated video, and it is actually, oh no, I never weaved in this end. Can I just hide it? It is actually the Elisabeth blouse. So this is a pattern by Petite Knit. I think it's one of her older patterns. It might be a year or two old. It's not that recent. I knit mine in this lovely blue cone, and this was a cone from Kensington Prairie Farm. I bought it. A few people asked me where they can purchase this cone. I actually bought it at the local farm, at the actual farm. So they don't have this online on their website. However, I'm pretty sure if you were to email her and be like, hey, what do you have any yarn cones? What are the options? She can cone it for you. Or I know that she takes yarn from a cone and skeins it as well. If you don't want the full cone, we just have to reach out to her, which is, yeah. This is 100% baby alpaca. It is a 2-ply, and the color is variegated teal. So what I ended up doing for this blouse is I held it 3 strands together, and that gave me the perfect sport weight for the gauge and the sweater. The way that the sweater is worked up is really interesting. So you start off by the collar. You do Judy's Magic cast on. I was about to say cast off. You do Judy's Magic cast on, and then you knit the collar kind of in the round, and then you connect it. So you attach both sides together, and that will create like a little kind of pocket here, but it's closed off, so it's a closed off pocket. But that's how you kind of create the little flap collar. I know that she does have a t-shirt pattern. I'm not too sure what it's called, but there's also this t-shirt here that she had, which is an older pattern. It's really similar, but that one, instead of just being the V, like open V, it has buttons. So I'm pretty sure if you wanted to for this, you could add buttons, or you could knit the t-shirt and remove the buttons. I think I saw someone on Instagram do that. Yeah, so then once you have your collar worked up, you can start on the yoke. So it's just back and forth not in the round, but it's just back and forth knitting as you work the raglan increases. And then till the point where you reach where you can then connect, for this part. And then you keep working the yoke till the desired length, and then you can split for the arms and the body. And after that, basically, it's just like your regular sweater. There are decreases in the arm, in the sleeves, but the body is just like a regular stockinette in the round, no decreases. and then you just do ribs, about 2-inch ribs at the bottom and the sleeve. Once you get the collar done, it's a really simple construction and this knit up really, really well. I think this is one of the first projects in a while that I didn't have a major setback or anything to redo because it's like a blouse. Even if it's alpaca, it's still really light and airy, and I'm not really warm in it. It's not like I have other alpaca sweaters that are warmer. Of course, I'm not gonna wear this in 30-degree weather, but I'm just saying, like right now, like today, for example, I wouldn't be able to wear my sweater number 15, which was alpaca and mohair, but I would probably be able to wear this and be fine. So it's really interesting. Now you're probably wondering, what are you gonna do with this leftover yarn? And what I am thinking about casting on, because I don't have enough for a second Elisabeth blouse, but also why would I knit myself 2 blouses in the same color, like 2 exact patterns in the same color? I don't know. So what I think I'm going to do with this is I did the math, and if I hold it double, I need to knit up a swatch and see if it's a fabric I would like. But if I hold it double, I can knit the Cumulus blouse, which is another blouse by Petite Knit. And I've been wanting to knit this one for such a long time, but because it requires a lot of yardage and a lot of lace weight, I think it's 2 lace held together, I just never bought enough yarn for it. It's supposed to be knit with, I think, a mohair, but I think I'm just gonna try and see if it works with this. So the next knit that I actually finished is the Petaluma Kerchief. So here we go. This is my little handkerchief. I did do a modification because I knit it for the exact repeat requirement. Wrapped around my head, it still ended up being too small, and I didn't want to make it longer, like add another repeat, because a repeat is about this long. So it means that it would go like longer in the head as well. So what I did instead is at the end, I just added I-cords to kind of help. And it also makes it easier to tie behind the nape of my neck. So that was the only modification I did actually, but I now have enough yarn to knit up a second one. But this is washed and blocked, and the yarn feels really, really nice. This yarn, I love it because I absolutely love that it's like shiny kind of, but still gray. And the shine, because if you look at the yarn itself, I showed this yarn in my yarns that I just got from Turkey from my boyfriend's mom, who like visited us and she brought some yarn over. I have a couple more of this yarn, so I'm really excited to cast it on. I think I'm gonna make, I said I was gonna make shirts with it, so I'm really excited to see how that works up. And it's a stretchy, but not too stretchy, and it drapes well, but it didn't it didn't warp or get really funny. It is 70% cotton, and then I forget what the content is, so I'm just gonna put it here, the fiber content. So now my plan is to, because I had so much fun knitting this one up, I'm actually gonna knit another one, I think in the same yarn, because I don't really have plans for this yarn. I thought I was gonna take up more, but I have enough to knit up a second one, and then I'll most likely have a little bit of yarn left over from that one. So you start off at the tip here, and you do the one little repeat that has just one kind of eyelid opening. And then as you work the repeats, you work increases. It's kind of seamless into the pattern design, so you don't really notice it, but that's just it. And then at the bottom, the last row before the end, you just do yarn overs and knit twos together to kind of get this like interesting border, and then you just weave the ends in. By the way, I forgot to mention, this is a free pattern over on Ravelry, and the pattern is really well written. I didn't have any issues. All the abbreviations are there, so if you guys have time and yarn left over, it doesn't take that much yarn. It only takes 136 yards, so I highly recommend you guys check out this pattern. The next knit that I want to talk to you guys about is, I'm putting it in the finished category because it's finished knitting, but it is actually another pattern by Petite Knit, and it is my Florence bag. So this was knit up in 2 strands of cotton and 1 strand of like alpaca mohair dupe type thing from Lily & Pine. I think it is, the color is limoncello, and it is their, what is it? Dandelion lace. That's what the yarn is called. So it's 2 cotton and 1 dandelion lace. And it created kind of like this gorgeous green, kind of neon green. It's called Limoncello. That's the colorway of the lace. And I think it fits it so well. So basically now, last week, if you guys watched my video, you'll know that I did go buy fabric lining for it. I still haven't sewed it in, but my goal today, actually literally right after this video, is to go to Dress Sew downtown and pick out a zipper because I just need a zipper and then I can figure out the lining for it. In that video, I had also stated that the pattern, I didn't see the wallet portion because in the pictures, there is the bag, a smaller bag, and then the wallet. And for some weird reason, she named the wallet, I mean, I'm calling it a wallet, but she named the little, I think it's a wallet. It's like a little pouch. She named that the purse. But in my mind, I thought it was the bag, and then the purse was the smaller bag, not the wallet. Anyways, but yeah, so I did say that it wasn't in the pattern, but it is. It's on the very last page. So I just like must have skipped it. I was knitting this and looking at this pattern from my phone. So scrolling, it's like smaller, a lot more scrolling. It's not as easy as like looking at the pattern on my laptop, printing it, or on my computer. So I think that's what ended up happening. So I just must have missed it. So thank you to whoever, I forget your name, but thank you to whoever pointed that out. That's less of a headache for me because I was going to try and figure it out myself. But now that it's there, it'll be a lot easier. But this is super, super soft and I love it. My only thing is for the wallet / purse, I just don't know if I'm going to do the mohair with it as well, the dandelion lace, or just do 3 strands of cotton because I do have enough left. It's just, do I want a furry wallet? That's my only thing right now. I'm gonna have to decide. So the way that you work this bag up, it's pretty simple. So you just cast on at the top here, and then you do a couple rows of stockinette stitch. I don't remember the exact measurement, but it's just a couple rows of stockinette, and then you work the repeat. It's a 2-row repeat all the way down. So you just knit a giant tube till about this length, and then you work decreases till the center and just you decrease till you end up with about 8 stitches at the center, and then you just pull, like wrap the yarn in all 8 and just pull through the center, and then you're supposed to weave in your end, but mine is still here. And that's kind of how you do this cute little spiral center here. Putting this in the finished pile because it is technically knit finished. It is just not finished. So now we can go on to the current WIPs. So the first one I want to talk to you guys about is one that is halfway done, and it is this lovely sock. So this is sock yarn from Opal. This is the actual yarn. I've just last night cast it on the second one, so I'm slowly working on the little, I did have to like pull out a bunch of yarn because this is a self-striping yarn. So this is the Van Gogh, part of the Van Gogh colorway collection, and I think this is the like French coffee shop one. It's based off this painting by Vincent van Gogh. It's self-striping, so you just cast it on and the colors work up by themselves, which is kind of fun. I actually really like this yarn. And basically to get it at the same part, I think I had to rip out like maybe this much. Like I have an extra little ball somewhere till I got back to the red that kind of matched like the first green row, and then red to make sure that both my socks, I want them to match. So hopefully from here on out, both the socks will match throughout. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna end up having leftover yarn. So I did get another one. Now this one isn't the Van Gogh collection, but this is what the yarn looks like. And it is from Germany, and it is 75% virgin wool and 25% polyamide, so 25% nylon, which gives it the great elasticity, but also the support for your feet when you wear them so you don't like rip a hole in it. They look almost the same, yet I've made one entire sock out of it. So this one, again, isn't part of the Van Gogh collection, but this one is also based off a painting. This is the In Variation nach 100 Wassert's work. I don't know who Hunder. It's based off this painting. The colorway is, which I find really fun that they do that. So hopefully I can finish the sock. I basically just did the basic opal pattern. I found a translation online because on the inside of the label, there's the whole pattern, but it's in German. So someone did a translation on Ravelry. It's free. And it's literally just like knit, cast on. I did 64 stitches, knit till your desired cuff length, knit till your desired leg length. This is how you work the heel, knit till your desired like foot length. It's not a super, if you've knit socks before and you know what you kind of like, it's one of those super easy patterns, but I wouldn't suggest this one if you're new to socks because it is very like do till what makes you happy kind of sock pattern. The next one is one that I've talked about in last week's video, but I got a bit more progress done. So I started on the sleeve because I really wasn't sure about the body length, if I wanted it longer or not. So I figured maybe I'll just knit both sleeves, try it on, see how I feel. I'm at the portion in the pattern where here I should be knitting the rib. But since I'm not too sure, I didn't want to knit the rib and then let's say later on have to go back. So I thought that that would be less of a headache. But yeah, so this is how far I am on the sleeve. I absolutely love this yarn so much. And I keep, as I'm knitting it, stopping and just like looking at how pretty it is. It's super pretty. So this is Noro Hanui Silk, and Noro is a yarn brand from Japan, but the Hanui wool is a sheep that is bred in New Zealand, and it is 30% silk mixed with the wool, the New Zealand wool. But I just love how natural this colorway is. It's undyed, untreated. It's just like the raw natural wool. And I think one of my favorite parts about this yarn is just how random there are like thicker pieces as you knit it. It's kind of satisfactory, at least for me, when there's like thicker random chunks. It's just really fun to work up and it's very different. If it had been any other yarn, I probably would have not liked that. Sometimes for projects, you want your yarn to be consistent, but because this is such a textured color and it just adds to the rawness of this yarn, I like it. I like seeing the little thicker pieces. So this is an Aran weight yarn. The original pattern calls for an Aran and a lace weight, but because this yarn has 30% silk, I hope and I figured that that should kind of be enough. I didn't want to hold a mohair with it, and I hope that the 30% silk in the long run will help with pilling issues. I'm in love. I love the stripes. I love the color. I just love the whole texture and everything. But this is also my very first saddle shoulder construction. So I don't know if you, yeah, you can see this. Okay. So this is also my very first, so this is also my very first saddle shoulder construction, which I think is really interesting. So you start off by knitting like two cubes, two rectangles, and then you pick up at the rectangle, like connect the two rectangles, knit the back, knit the front, knit everything till it's about like where the arms should be, the armhole should be. And then you connect it in the round and start knitting the round. It's a very interesting shoulder construction. I've never done one of these before. And I feel like they're really popular right now. I've been seeing a lot of t-shirts, a lot of sweaters knit this way, a lot of cardigans. I find it interesting that this is kind of the trend right now. Because it's an Aran weight, it's working up so much quicker. I think I casted this on like 2 weeks ago and I've done the body almost. Just need to do the rib and I'm more than halfway done the sleeve in like 2 weeks. The next pattern that I'm working on is finally a new cast on for my everyday sweater. So I finally found my perfect dream yarn combination, and if you can tell, it is stretchy and bouncy, which is what I needed. So I'm really happy with it, and I think it looks really, really good. The mohair isn't too light for this one. It works really well, and I think that's because there are naturally already little, the flakes in this wool kind of has a lot of orange, a lot of lights, a lot of yellows, whites, like there's just a couple colors going on. So this mohair really pairs well with it. So this is Sandnes Garn Tin Silk Mohair. And I think it's 15% wool, 15% silk, and the rest is mohair. It's something like that. So there's a bit of wool in this. It's thicker than your traditional mohair because of the wool, but it's still a really small wool content. So the yarn that I'm using is light Aran Moore. It is 300 meters and it is 80% wool, 10% silk, and 10% cashmere blend. So it's working up like a dream. And this is just the collar. I think I have a couple more rows to do. So it is a turtleneck. This is just like the turtleneck portion. And then I can start working on the raglan increases, not decreases. I'm really happy that it's finally stretchy because the yarn that I had chosen before, when I knit it up, because it had wool, viscose, and it had something else, when I first knit up the collar, it just like stayed wide and that was it. So when I tried it on, it was just like, and I just thought, this isn't nice. Nobody wants to wear or knit a sweater like this. So I'm really happy that I got that to work. I did also just want to quickly state for Camisole No.9, I didn't sew it, so I don't have any progress on it. It's still in the bag, in the project bag. I don't know. I've been working a lot lately, so I finish work, it's dark. I don't really want to sew black yarn when it's dark out and I can't see, so that one's just been chilling. But I did cast on and knit up first part of my support chicken, emotional support chicken. So this is just one of the tails for the chicken. Now this pattern has been going viral everywhere. Everybody's been knitting it up and I'm so happy to be finally casting it on. I think I talked about this chicken like over a year ago now, and I just decided to pick up some scrap yarn, and these are the colorways that I'm using. So this is some leftover knit crate yarn from a long time ago, and I think this is yarn from my very first sweater that I knit up 3 years ago. This is a merino wool, and then this one is, I don't even remember, some type of wool. This one was the correct weight, so I think it's a worsted weight for the emotional support chicken, or Aran, I don't remember. Let's see. Emotional damage. So the pattern calls originally for a worsted weight, and I'm pretty sure that this is originally a worsted weight, but I just wanted to hold it with this kind of fingering merino, darker, just because I thought it would be really nice to kind of have some texture in my chicken, because everybody loves a textured chicken. So it's not just like one tone green, it kind of has a little bit of a foresty, darker vibe to it. So I'm thinking for the main body, I have a lot of white, just some white wool that is left over, so I'm going to knit it in that. But then I was also thinking maybe I can do, this is the kind of color palette I'm going with, some greens and blues, and then I could just, these are all different weights, hold different strands together. There's some gray and brown here, and then I do have the yellow for the beak. But I was kind of just thinking, this is a lace weight, this is a DK weight, DK I think. Fingering, light fingering, and then this is something else. So basically I was thinking about just mixing and matching these colors for the chicken and going with what makes me happy on that day. So now I just need to repeat this exact piece, and then there's like a connection border, and then when you fold two pieces together and sew them, that's going to be the tail. So you start off with the tail. So hopefully next time I can have more progress on my chicken, because I really need an emotional support chicken right now. So that's kind of it for me in the knitting world. I am currently spinning my sweater quantity I've started, and that is kind of going on. Again, hopefully I can have that out soon, the first episode part out soon. I'm also spinning on my Turkish spindle when I have time. So this is actually the second cake. Here is the first. I decided to take it off because it was just getting a little bit heavy for me for my wrist in the long run. I wasn't able to spin as long anymore. So I kind of removed it, and it's now just chilling. So this is what it looks like when you remove it from the Turkish spindle. So there's actually two threads, one in the center and one on the outside. And if you wanted to ply it together, you can just pull on both. It kind of does like a center pull ball, and then you can just ply those two ends together. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm just spinning another one up, and hopefully at the end I can weigh them both and then ply them together. And I'm probably going to have even more left because I still have this much of the braid to spin up, so this is going to take a lot of time. what I'm thinking is maybe when I go on my trip, I could bring a knitting project, but also bring the spindle and just spin some yarn. I think that that'll be nice to just relax and spin. Bringing just this fiber, it's going to take me a long time to spin it up, but it's also going to take up less room in my suitcase than bringing like 2 different projects and then all the yarn for those different projects, unless I just bring socks. And then I just did a little bit more progress on my support spindle. So this is what it looks like now. I didn't do too much. And then this is how much, yeah, this is how much wool I have left from the first bat. This was a, do I have the other bat? I have a second mini bat. Now I don't know if I'm gonna spin this one also on a support spindle. Maybe could actually be really interesting to see the difference if one is spun on supported spindle and one is spun on wheel, and then I can compare the both. But this is about 71 grams. So this is about 2.5 ounces, and then the amount of fiber I had in this fire orange is about 4 ounces. So it's about half per bag, but this just looks like a lot. But it's really fluffed up and aired up because it's a bat. So I just put my hair up, and I feel like I probably should have put it up a lot earlier. I think this is what happened last time in the video as well, last week. I don't know. I've also been contemplating whether cutting my hair off completely, but we'll see. We'll see. Right now what I need to go do is actually just run to the store before it closes and pick out the zipper for this. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. So I think I'm gonna call the video done. I really like showing everything that I'm working on, the struggles I go through, and it's very therapeutic for me, but it also reminds me that I do, a lot of times I feel like I don't do anything and get anything done, but these videos really help me with that. Realize that's not true at all. You're working on like 6 different things at once, so. And if you guys are curious about anything that I talked about, any yarns that I talked about, any project, or want to let me know what you guys are working on, I love reading your comments and seeing what everybody's up to. But yeah, so I'm gonna go get the zipper for this. I hope you guys have a lovely, beautiful day. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.